So I used to go over here and caddy. That's the Langston Golf Course. So to make, a little extra money, I wasn't very good at that, which is probably why I decided to go to the police department.
Back then, everyone knew a young Robert Contee was destined for great things. But the student voted most dependable, intellectual.
Most intellectual right there.
And most likely to succeed knew he'd have to leave his Northeast D.C. neighborhood to do that. So he signed up to become a police cadet.
Because it provided a financial opportunity for me as a young man, growing up in this neighborhood, in Carver Terrace, I wanted a change of scenery.
The wars over crack territories helped send the district's homicide rate through the roof.
Contee came of age during the 80s crack epidemic, a time when terror and violence reigned.
My bedroom window was right here. That's the bathroom window. That's
We
like
came back to his old community to find out how the acting chief's experience then frames how he'll tackle the violence that persists now.
When you see this, we know what this is.
Yeah. It's a reminder of the neighborhood that I come from, another life lost, tragically. I saw a lot of that on this block.
The pandemic brought a 1-2 punch. Lockdowns made petty disputes worse. That's what's causing a lot of D.C.'s violence. And distance made it more difficult to deter crime. The mayor says Contee will create a blueprint for a modern police department, using new and better ways to engage the community and reduce violent crime.
How do you get that done?
I think the way that you get it done is you get everybody involved in the effort. For so many years, when we talk about crime and some of the issues we see in the community, it's just rested on the shoulders of the police department. Clearly we know that we can't arrest our way out of situations. You can't just be, every time you show up, it's looking to take away. You're withdrawing, you're locking somebody up. You have to make those investments, and who knows how many lives have changed as a result of that.
Contee says we need to create a new kind of ecosystem, one where the police and community work in tandem to stop crime before it starts and help solve it when it does happen to make the city safer for all. That's not happening.
Medic 30 priority, Medic 30 priority. Come in.
Last year, over 922 people were shot in the city. About 198 of them died, including children, like 15-month-old Carmelo Duncan.
There's somebody in the community who knows who killed Carmelo. There's somebody in community who knows the reason behind his killing. There's somebody in the community who has information that I'm sure they have not shared.
Contee says when the killers and the lawbreakers are caught, there has to be accountability in order to stop the cycle, whether it's gun violence or other violent crime on the rise, like carjackings.
Most recently, we had a guy who had a medical emergency who died behind the wheel of his car, and someone pulled him from the car and took his vehicle, left him on the side of the road like he was garbage. And I think that that's unacceptable.
Violence has touched his own family. Back when the acting chief was the 6D commander, and he got a call about his dad.
He was on his way to work, and while on the way to work, somebody randomly stabbed him in his back, punctured a lung.
His father survived, not just a stabbing, but he beat a drug addiction too.
There would be times where, I know, he was, selling drugs out of the apartment that we lived in. And then sometimes when he got to the point that he began to abuse drugs, he bought them right off this very street right here. This is my family. That's my father, my mother, my brother, my sister, and that's me over there, that little guy. The majority of my family live right here in this block.
The acting chief says these life experiences keep him humble. Contee knows not everyone will look at the department he leads or even him and believe in the promise of a new day. But he hopes that he'll be given a chance to earn that with his actions and a renewed commitment to building a city safe for everyone.
There's a young man at the helm who is from this city, who's experienced the worst things that one could experience in this city, who's empathetic, who's compassionate, who's also very focused. I have been all of my life, all of my young adult life, even into now, very focused on making sure that people in our communities are safe.